Children, yesterday I was taught you third lesson in history, administrative structure. In this lesson, I taught Charter Act 1833 and 1853. Now look at the administrative setup under the company. Administrative setup under the company. The English East India Company was a trading company. Trading means व्यापारिक company, whose main purpose was to explore more and more markets so as to earn profit. The Governor General adopted the policy of rapid expansion of the British Empire in India. They tried to establish the administrative setup of the company to maintain peace and law and order in the country. Lord Cornwallis founded the administrative setup of the company on a firm footing. Civil service, the army, the police and the judicial organization were the main pillars of the British rule and were directly controlled by the Governor General in Council. Civil service. The Governor General of Council was assisted by the large number of officials who constituted the civil services. The Indian civil service became one of the most efficient, powerful and prestigious service in the world. In the beginning, the company officials and employees include traders and clerks who discharge the duties of the administrative officers as well. They were low paid and so inefficient and corrupt. Robert Clive and Warren Hastings tried to wipe out the corruption through regulation, but they failed to organize an efficient civil service. Lord Cornwallis is regarded as the real founder of the British civil services in India. He introduced strict regulation for the official. He banned private trade by the company's officials and raised their salaries. In due course of time, these officers became the highest paid civil servant in the world. The prestige and high salary of these services began to attract young men of the aristocratic families. Earlier, members of influential British families were mainly nominated to these services by the Act of 1853. A system of open competition to the Indian civil services was introduced. The higher posts were restricted to Englishmen. The subordinate posts remained open to Indians. It was difficult for Indians to get selected. This was because the examination was held in London and very few Indians could afford the cost of travel. The medium of expression was English, which was a foreign language to the Indians, and the maximum age for competition was very low. Young recruits to the civil services in India had no knowledge of the Indian affairs. Therefore, Lord Wellesley established the Fort William College at Calcutta in 1801 to train them. In 1806, however, the task of training the official was shifted to Calvary College in England. From the administrative point of view, the British India was divided into several districts each under a collector, they key men in the administration and overall responsible for the collection of revenue and maintenance of law and order. Army. The army was important for the protection and extension of British Empire in India. The company's army was first raised during the Carnatic Wars. Later, the presidencies organized their independence armies. The bulk of the army consisted of Indian soldiers and sepoys who men came from the present-day Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. They were paid lower salary, the highest position, and could be aspired for by an Indian soldier was that of Subedar. They were a disciplined force, well trained in the use of the latest arms and ammunition. As national sentiments were almost absent at that time, these Indian soldiers were loyal to their British master. However, their discrimination against the Indian soldiers ultimately led to the revolt of 1857. Police. Lord Cornwallis organized the police into a regular force. In 1791, a superintendent of police was appointed for Calcutta, while other towns were placed under the control of Kotwals. The districts were divided into thanas, each under the control of a daroga. Later on, each district was placed under the control of a superintendent of police. The villages had chowkidars. The police were ill-paid and hence were corrupt. They oppressed and the people and therefore unpopular with the people. The high posts in the police department were reserved for the British. The police succeeded in curbing the antisocial elements and also helped in suppressing the growing national spirit. Judicial organization. Judicial organization. In the beginning, the judicial administration was carried out on basis of the traditional law of the Indians. The Shastras in case of the Hindus and the Shariat in the case of Muslim. Shastras in case of Hindu or Shariat case of Muslim form the basic of jurisdiction. Warren Hastings established a civil and criminal code in each district. Two courts of appeal, Sadar Diwani Adalat and Sadar Nijamat Adalat, were also set up. A code of Hindu and Muslim law was complete to guide the judge. In 1774, the Supreme Court was established at Calcutta to try the servant of the company. Naveen Kumar, a high caste Brahmin, was sentenced to death by the Supreme Court under the British law. The Indians greatly resented against it. In 1781, it was decided that the English law would be applicable to Englishmen in India and not to Indians. In 1793, the acceptable custom of the Indians were compiled. The new code was known as the Bengal Regulation 1793. Thus, a system of written law was introduced in India for the first time. However, the Indian system of law was fully codified in 1833 by the Indian Law Commission under Lord Macaulay. The new system of law was known as Indian Penal Code, the Civil Procedure Code, and the Code of Criminal Procedure. In 1865, the Sadar Diwani and Sadar Nijamat Adalat were abolished and High Court were established at Kolkata, Madras, Chennai and Bombay. Mumbai कहते हैं. Feature of the British judicial system. Now next day.